Oceania Nationals top 16 breakdown and deck lists. Let's go. So this past weekend down in Melbourne, we did have the OCE Nats. And I want to give a quick shout out to TAC Games for running the event. Not only that, but I was actually able to commentate the finals. If you guys wanted to check out the VOD from that, I'll leave the link in the description. But overall, we did have 109 players. I've got the top 16 deck lists here. We're going to run through them and we'll, give my thoughts. But before I do that, I want to give another massive shout out to all the people that actually come and said hi to me. Those that don't know by now, I really do like when you guys come and see me. And I had a lot more people come and see me than I actually anticipated. It was really good to chat with some of you guys. So you guys will see the top 8 breakdown here. Now, I played Nameku, I went X3 in the event, and I had really good breakers that I bobbled into top 32. Very unfortunate I wasn't able to win one more game because I had good enough breakers for top 16. I will do a profile on the top 32. There was actually 2 X2 Namekus that finished above me, so I guess you could say I've been dethroned, but it's really good to see Nameku up there. And I guess like a few decks on the fringe of cracking that top 16, and a couple of decks you probably wouldn't have expected to be in the top 16. But my whole point of this is that when you play Nameku, you only play games that go for about 4, 5, maybe 5 turns. So I had spare time, so I went around to all the tables that were still going in between one of my rounds and sort of calculated what leaders were at the event. I was able to calculate all for about 28 leaders. This could be a few count off, but I'm going to show you guys the breakdown if you didn't see me post it over on my social. So we have the leader tally here. I couldn't make it a graph to fit in there because I'm a noob at this. So the most represented deck by a country mile was, of course, Cell. And like I said, I have like 26 to 28 decks that were unaccounted for. So this could have been a lot more Cells than what it actually was. But it just goes to show there was just so much Cell. So Cell being the most represented at 18, SH Piccolo at 8, Kid Buu at 7, Omega at 6, Starter Deck Freezer at 5, King Gomer at 4, 3 Namekus, 3 Giblets, 3 Evil Boos, 3 Gotenks, 3 GT Gokus, which was actually probably one that I didn't expect to see as much of. 2 BR Broly, 2 Bardoks, 2 Green Vegetas, 2 Kidkus, 2 Android 18s, 1 Shenron, 1 Shallot, 1 Zamasu, which was actually my round 1 opponent, one of the SS Daimakus, so the one that gives something a big buff, 1 Bulma, 1 Green Cell. Mad shout out to that guy. Cannot wait for the next set to use the Green Cell support. 1 Goku Black and 1 Red Trunks. So good to see a lot of leader diversity. Always a great thing to see on the national stage. However, obviously the big glaring problem was just so much Cell. But fear not, the ban list will save that. So breaking down the event, first place, and a massive shout out to Brendan, who has just absolutely torn us apart this year. I think he run 3 events in a row, missed an event, and then 1 Nat. So the man has been an absolute machine this year. He took it down with Omega Shenron, and then I spoke about decks that we didn't expect to see in the top 16. King Goma was not on my radar. And we saw the final of King Goma, and a lot of people thought that maybe King Goma was going to be going to Worlds. Unfortunately, for King Goma, that wasn't the case, but it was really good to see something that wasn't Cell, Buu, or Omega competing for a spot at Worlds. So third place then we have Cell, 4th was Evil Buu, 5th Kid Buu, 6th was another Cell, 7th Kid Buu, and rounding out the top 8 was of course another Cell. So then and there was actually one list in here that made me go, you know what, I want to make sure that we get to see the top 16, because we talk about seeing so many of these top decks. When I saw the 10th place deck, who was actually one of my losses, I was like, I need to sort of be able to show that. And then we had another King Goma in top 16, so I wanted to make sure that we got to see those decks that weren't the meta decks. So 9th place, the unfortunate bubble was Omega Shenron, because, sorry, I say bubble because we only did a top 8 cut. I don't 100% agree with that. I don't know what goes into making the decision of top 8 or top 16. I definitely would have preferred to have seen top 16 myself. 10th place was Black SS4 Goku. 11th and 12th was Cell. 13th was another Omega, 14th Cell, 15th Boo, and then King Goma rounding out the top 16. Okay, so we are back over on Eggman events going through these lists. And first place, Brendan, and again, shout out to him for taking it down. I don't know, I'm pretty sure he has a YouTube channel, so maybe keep an eye out for that, if he does a deck profile. There is, of course, a second place King Goma deck profile on the channel at the moment. I couldn't hang around to do deck profiles because I was doing Masters, and then Sunday I was casting or commentating, and then after that I was rude and didn't want to do anything. So we'll go over his list, and this is Sin Shenron is pretty much figured out. It's just like one or two tiny little ratios. The one thing I do note is that he's actually playing one Pan, and you also see he's also playing one Haze, so he must find that he has much better consistency with 5 1-drops and 4 Vegetas and the 4 Haze and the 1 Haze in terms of self-awakeners, so 5 and 5, because you're never usually using this like on curve until like the later game. 2 Ice, 4 Natron, 4 Nova, 4 Sin, 4 Omega, and all the rest. The only other thing that you like sort of debate is what your count of Burst Attack and Energy Ball is. Some play 3-3, some play 3-2, some play 2-3. So in this case, we're playing 3-3. So a massive shout out to you and congratulations. Good luck at Worlds. Hopefully we can take it down. So second place, King Goma. Like I said, there is a profile for this on the channel. King Goma got good support recently, so it got a good buff. It's probably going to be in a very good position post-ban list because when we spoke to Joseph in the deck profile, Cell was the hardest matchup. And with Cell moving out of the meta, maybe there's a chance that we just get a meta dominated by aggro now. I'm all for it because I play obviously aggro decks, but you know, it's exciting times to think about what it's going to be like post-ban list. So for Degasu, this one is the one that just searches for a King Goma in the field. So we are playing 2 copies of the Third Eye Goma to increase that consistency there, because then you've got 4, 8, 10, 10 and 2. So you got 20 targets then, when before you would only have like 18. And at least here you're getting a 10k combo. The worst thing is that it can only grab fields, so like sometimes the searches aren't great if you're finding fields when you don't need them, but they are discard fodder then. 4 of this Margin Do, this card is really, really good. It like enables so much of your go wide tempo because you can free play your Aransu, and if you've got a Kraken on board, you can untap 1 for the Do, you can pay 1 for the Do, which untaps 1, which leaves 1 up for Results Training or Planet of Mega. So there's a lot of things you can do, and a lot of if you guys watch the stream, Joseph leaned into this Kraken very hard, and it just enabled so much. And it was really great to watch someone pilot the deck so strongly. And so then we move on. We've got 3 Might Mega, 4 of the Aransu, probably like, I don't know, one of the best cards in the deck outside of course, like the Gomas. 4 of the Kraken, 1 of the Never, and this card came up a lot more than you would think it would for a 1 of. You burn through your deck like pretty consistently because this like just draws 3, and you want to resolve lots of these on top of like tapping down your fields to draw off Aransu and just like drawing from Planet of Mega. You pretty much will always see your Never. So even it only feels bad if you see it early. If you see it late game, it is really, really good for helping close out the game, and we did see it come in very clutch on stream. So moving in, we got full complement of the 4 of the Gomas, 4 of the Dende Super Combo searches. You play Demon Realm searches because this Degasu can, of course, search your Super Combos. So this whole deck is actually searchable because this is a Demon Realm. So even your Results of Training is searchable. When you have the entire deck, 50 cards that are searchable, unless it cannot search for itself. Nope, it can search for itself. So your whole deck is searchable, and that is just incredible. You see a lot of decks that have things that search pretty much your whole archetype, but then you're playing like, you might be playing an off-archetype super combo, you might have just some general staples that you'd run in the deck, which makes them invalid targets. Your whole deck is searchable here. So then we have 4 Planet of Mega, 2 Results Training, 3 Demon King Palace, and 3 Witches Abode. So it's just like, it's only a matter of time before they start maybe printing us perhaps some different kind of field cards, and it'd be very interesting to see what kind of support they bring out for Kingoma next. So moving on, we have Ryan in 3rd place. Ryan was actually one of my losses as well, and big thank you to him for carrying my breakers. I did my best, and he finished Swiss. He was the only X2 that managed to get through, so he made full use of the opportunity to crack into that top 8, and he finished 3rd. So massive congratulations to him. So it is Cell. Cell is pretty straightforward. I mean, we're probably gonna like plow through these Cell lists pretty consistently, pretty quickly, unless there's obviously some form of ratio changes. So you guys will see, you know, all the 4s. And then the main ratios that changes when I was building these was how many of the Self-Awaken 18s you played and how many of the Daima Goku Awakeners you played, and then what your count of Self-Destruct was. So in this case, we've got 2 Self-Awaken 18s, 4 of the Daima Gokus, and 3 Self-Destructs. So congratulations to Ryan. 4th place we have, I believe it was a Jimmy, so I do apologize if I get any of these names wrong. And we are playing Evil Boo. So Evil Boo's still hanging in there. Obviously, Evil Boo suffers a lot more than Kid Boo does with the upcoming ban list, because Evil Boo tends to lean into the buff Boo a lot more than the Naruto Boo. So it will obviously take a massive hit with the upcoming ban list. So I guess it got its swan song. So we're playing 4 Searcher, 3 Yamu, 8 of the 1-drop Resters, 4 Barbary, 4 of the Stun Self-Awakened Boos, the 1 of SCR, the 4 Boohans, 2 of the Crit Boo. The Crit Boo, I noticed, has started to deplete a little bit in the lists. I don't know if any of these Boo lists in the top 16 actually ran 4, whereas in the few previous events that I've covered, people were still running 4 of the Kid Boo. 4 of the Buff Boo, 2 of the Stun Goku, 4 of Naruto Boo, 4 Margin Boo double strikes, 4 Zarbon because that's the pretty super combo, and 2 Results Training, which has always made sense for this deck because when your things get KO'd on your opponent's turn, you just like get to untap one and have Results of Training live. So it makes perfect sense that you run Results of Training. Congratulations on your 4th place finish. Next up, we have Max, and big shout out to Max. He absolutely was on a tear this weekend. He finished undefeated in Swiss in both Masters and Fusion World. That is, I don't know if you'll find someone that will be able to do this. Unfortunately, wasn't able to convert, but to go undefeated in both Swisses for 2 different games is just an incredible achievement. So we'll go over his list. We're starting to see a little bit of variance in the list, and we will note that he is playing the Evil Boo, which he did run in his Brisbane list, which made a lot of sense to him, and I have seen I believe there's a couple of lists playing it. But the other card that he's playing that none of these lists are actually using is this new promo, and I saw this new promo and I thought, this deck does not need any more fucking support, but yet they still give it to it. So if your leader is Margin and special traits, you rest something. And then you choose one of your rest mode battle cards that cost 3 or less and KO it. So more removal, it's a 10k searchable combo, and it's just another removal piece. It's a good little addition to the deck. It's basically this, just a tiny bit better, being 10k. This also sort of doubles down as a Self-Awaken and hits a 3 cost instead of a 2 cost. So the other things we will note, I have a feeling maybe I've got this wrong. I swear when I built this, I only seen 3 Boohan, so I could have got a ratio wrong somewhere, and maybe there is 4. So we see one of the stuns and another person playing Results of Training. Obviously, you have to leave one open for this, but if you're not playing into Boo, that's not really a problem. So big congratulations, Max. Next up, we have another Cell, and as I was saying just before, it is actually identical to Ryan's list, outside of the fact that he's running 4 Self-Destructs instead of Ryan's 3, and he's playing a different super combo. So he finished 2nd in Swiss, so a good achievement there. Unfortunately, a similar thing, fell victim to the sort of lower placing guys. So it's good to see that despite your Swiss finish, it was still, everyone in the top 8 had a very good crack at it. So next up, we have a Boo, and this was Robert Reitz, who actually who actually won the Masters event and got a top in this. So incredible achievement. He comes over every year and he does a good job at keeping us on our toes. So one year, hopefully, he'll come over and we'll be able to give it to him. But nonetheless, congratulations on your list. This is pretty straightforward. This one is actually playing the 2-cost KO, much to like Max's, except it's running 2 of the Stun Goku, and it's not running Results of Training. So very, very similar, just not running the Results of Training and the 3-cost KO promo. So congratulations, Reetzy. So moving on now, we have another Cell. This one pretty much very similar. This one actually running 3 of the Self-Awaken 18s. Only running 3 Self-Destructs, but also running 1 of the Royal Defense's Last Stand. This I haven't seen this card in a list for a while. Very, very interesting because it is a mandatory life take. It'd be very interesting to see. Normally, Cell just obviously, if they want any Self-Awaken, they use these two. Maybe it come up, maybe it didn't. So it'd be very interesting to know. Congratulations on your finish. And now that is the top 8 done, we move into the next 8, or the 9 to 16. This one is Charlie, who actually won Nats last year, so unfortunately bubbling out this year, but another Sin Shenron, and this one is identical to Brendan's list, except he's running a 3rd Ice instead of the Pan. So very, very similar lists, and congratulations on your finish. And now we move into JD's 10th place SS4 Goku. So I definitely didn't expect to see this, and I actually got the pleasure of playing against him, and I actually he sat down and he said, I thought there might be a chance that we played. And the one thing that I said is, I have a tendency to lose to decks that I haven't practiced against. And well, he had 4 energy open and I just took to 2 life because I forgot that this deck runs a 4-cost double strike. So it was very unfortunate for me, but he played the game very, very well. And I really, really liked the support that come out for this deck. Like I said earlier, this kind of like prompted me to do the 9 to 16 placings, purely because I wanted people to be able to see this deck. Like, black is definitely not on the map at the moment. Like, you don't see any black decks doing well. I think this deck is, like, for me, this is the best black deck. Like, you can argue the point with me. I just think this is the best black deck, purely because you've got your energy mark creation. But I think this Pan is just incredible. You think about what the Videl did for Halo Coup. This is essentially the same thing, except it doesn't lock you out of playing Videls for the turn. So you can just keep spamming these and go really wide if you see your pieces. Obviously, you can't reoccur the Pans, but you can reoccur the 1-cost Pans. So I just think this added so much to it. He is actually not running the triple strike, which I'm a big fan of because it's like a Masters thing, but it made sense to me when I did have a bit of a chat to JD about his matchups and whatnot, because he did give me a little bit of he ripped me up something that I will quickly discuss. So yeah, we got 3 Chi-Chis, 2 of the Guru, 3 Hercule, 4 of the Pan, 3 Para Brothers, 4 of the Energy Marker Trunks, 4 Pan, 1 Trunks GT, which kind of makes sense because Cell's a thing, and like Cell's probably your hardest matchup, and your stuff isn't sticking because it just gets negged. So I can definitely see a case why you only run Trunks. It'd probably just be for like the Sin matchup. You just leave it in active mode and just force them to have ice. If they don't have ice, they can't remove anything, or if they have Nova, but in which case they're just bouncing it to your hand. So this definitely helps your Sin matchup, which I do believe he did mention to me. He actually did. He was the one loss that the winner Brendan actually had. So he's got that one to hold over him, over the champ. So that's always a good thing to have. 3 of the Bardock, and this Bardock at the moment, like if the Bardock can live, like we say, Cell is a thing, so the Bardock not living in those other matchups where this Bardock lives and you can just leave it in active mode, it gets so much value. So we got 2 of the Self-Awakened Gokus, and then we've got Glorio, and if you get to abuse Glorio, like what happened to me because I went second, where they just get to pay 2, draw 1, get a 25k body. The more Glorios you play, the better you're going to be off. 1 of the grade 8 babies, 4 of the SCR. SCR still the bread and butter of black. Like we said, we're Goku GT. We can play a double strike. So of course we'll play a double strike that has combo power and costs 1 less than the Bardock, because we've got our removal in, of course, the Gogeta, which is, in my mind, definitely a lot more value for money because you don't have to combo 2 cards. So 3 Gogeta, and Gogeta actually facilitates a lot of things. Like sometimes you have some matchups where you kind of just win by playing this card. Where like you think like yellow can't untap, Boo can't untap things, yellow Vegeta can't untap things, so it really slows them down from playing the game. This card can really shut things down. 4 Bowler Super Combos, because that's the pretty one. 2 10x Kamehamehas, crazy card, still to this day, hits so many relevant things in the meta, and 1 Ultimate Sparking. So massive congratulations there. And just before I move on, the one thing I can tell you is out of the 7 rounds, JD played against 3 cells and lost. His 2 losses were to them. He had a win against Omega Shenron, had a win against myself on Nameku, had a win against Starter Frieza, and a Broly BR. So moving on, we have another cell. This one running a 3-3 line of the Self-Awakeners and 4 Self-Destructs. So we're not beating around the bush. Congratulations. Still an incredible effort to do this, regardless of whether it's the best deck or not. You still have to play the deck. Regardless of how good the deck is, you still have to play the deck. And still to go X2 throughout the weekend is just an incredible result. Next up, and when I saw the name Sniper King, I didn't put it to me. And then the list got sent to me and I knew exactly who it was, and it just made perfect sense. Jacob gets another top, and this guy was so unlucky. Anyone that came from Sydney suffered a lot of problems with flight delays. Jacob, unfortunately, was one of those people. He missed the first round because of the flight delay. He then went on to win all 5 of his next games, and then unfortunately lost the last one. So he was so close at making top 8, even after missing round 1 because of a flight delay. And it's just very fortunate his breakers carried him to that top 16 spot. Very well deserved. Very unfortunate that it went down like it is. And when you see a list of Jacobs and you see just stuff everywhere, and it always blows your mind, and it always makes you feel really happy because you see someone just completely going against how everyone else plays the deck, and they just play it their way, and it just works for them. So this list wanting 1 Flap A, only 1 cost cell, 2 of the 18s, but 2 of the blocker 18s as well. So something a little bit different. And then we move down here. We will see 1 Instant Transmission. We see 1 Kamehameha. He was playing these in his top 8 lists from Brisbane, and he did tell me that they do catch people out. But the new addition that I noticed was Glimpse. So it'd be very interesting to know how often he used it. I assume he probably just used it offensively, just to like reoccur things, because I'm pretty sure it grabs back a 4. Yeah, so it grabs back a 4, so you can like restart your chain if you need to, all that sort of stuff. So big shout out to you. Congratulations on your finish, and it's good to see something a little bit different. Next up, we have J-Fan. Big shout out to him. Obviously, I'm a big fan of J-Fan myself. Unfortunately, didn't quite get the top 16. And again, like you see some of these players that made the top 16 and it's like a really good result for them, but it's a little bit unfortunate that they weren't able to play top cut because it was only cut to top 8. But hey, that's all right. We move next year. Hopefully we get a top 16. So this list, very similar to Brendan and Charlie's, except this one running 1 Nova and only 2 of the burst attacks. So that's the one difference. We saw this is the same as Charlie's, except he was running no Nova and 3 burst attack, and Brendan's was running 3 burst attack, no Nova, and 1 Pan. So Sin Shenron is, you can say, completely figured out. There's just like 2 or 3 flex spots where you guys try and figure out what works best for you. So, congratulations, J-Fan. Now, moving in, we have Wuhan, who was actually my final round loss. And, we finished it. I was feeling really disappointed because I knew I'd blown it. I thought I'd blown top 32. And he looked at me and he said, "I enjoy your content, man." And in that moment, I was just like, I can't feel bad about losing now. Like, Like, I always hope all my opponents do the best, but when they've just beaten me and they're like, I enjoy your content, it's just like, I can live with that. I can live with that. So big thank you for that. A big appreciate, like as I said, thank you everyone that comes up and says stuff to me about my content. It really, like, you guys actually don't know how much it means to me. So this list, and I went to get his list off X because he did tag me in his report. And I was like, oh wait, you haven't got a list. And he's like, yeah, well, it's just Cell. Everyone plays the same thing, so I didn't attach the list, which is very fair. But we will see that the one change this time is, well, no changes compared to the other ones. This one's choosing to run the 3-3 line of the Goku and the 18, and 3 of the self-destruct. And we're running the Kappa super combo because blingy super combos. So massive shout out to you there. Next up, we have Miguel. Miguel is on Boo. So again, pretty similar to the stock standard list. The only difference is that this one is actually running a 1 of Golden Frieza. And I guess all the other Boo players probably weren't worried about maybe Piccolo in a sense. So they just opted not to play the Golden Frieza. But we've played that sort of, played that little bit of a safe route to play the Golden Frieza. Only 1 of the Goku stuns and 4 of the Yamcha. So the lists have sort of floated between 2, 3, and 4, as that's like your cantrip blocker that you play, because you're always running a full count of the Bibbidi. So congratulations on your finish there. And rounding out the top 16, we have Alan, who is also someone that played off top 8 in Masters. So much like Max and Robert, just an absolute insane player across multiple TCGs. So, and anyone that knows Alan, he doesn't always play like these top tier decks. He always finds something that works, and Goma was one of those ones. Like, so we saw 2 Gomas in this, and this Goma list is actually somewhat different to Joseph's list. This one is actually running the 1 cost resting Boo. I did actually sort of talk to Alan after, I think it was a Frieza game, and I poked him about the matchup because Mrs. Hazy played Goma, and when we were testing the day before, she was really struggling with Starter Frieza. And one of the things that Alan said that you do against Starter Frieza is you just starve them really well. So to do that, you do need to run this Margin Boo. Like, the Aransu can do it, but the Margin Boo can do it a bit earlier to sort of deny that awakening of Frieza, or just any deck in general. And we all are also running the Kadim, which is basically the 2-cost Frieza from the starter deck, which takes a life and rests something. So, and note, this one is actually anything, whereas the starter deck Frieza, I believe, was only a 3-cost. So, I guess you could say slightly better, because you have to have 2 or more cards that are in Demon Realm in your battle area. So, your field actually counts as 1 as well as itself. So, it is pretty easy to achieve that. We are only seeing 2 of the Kraken, though, whereas Joseph was running 4. So, we did, like I said, we saw Joseph use the Kraken a lot. Alan maybe just sort of favored the more aggro route, maybe the Aransu do lines a lot more, or just prioritizing a bit more stun, because we are playing 4 Might Mega, whereas Joseph's list was only running 3. 4 Planet Megas, the field count is the same. You pretty much play 10 fields. Like, you have to play 4 of the Mega, because that's the only second Demon Realm. And then you just sort of want to see both. Like, I would definitely see cases of, maybe if you really wanted to be out there, you could run 4 of the Demon King Palace and 3 of the Witch's Abode, but you definitely have moments where Witch's Abode is useful because it is self-awaken, and sometimes you just need to KO that 4 costs. And then 2 results of training. So, congratulations, Alan, for rounding out the top 16. So that will be the end of the video today, guys. Hope you did enjoy. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you all on another one soon.